All right, you guys. So at this point, you've heard of Arc Raiders, right? You know about this extraction shooter that came out of nowhere and has completely made waves and consumed the mind share of all gamers. And that's super cool to see. It's super cool that, streamers, content creators, all your favorite video game outlets are gushing this game praises, minus IGN and that one weird guy. But pretty much everyone is unanimous that Arc Raiders is an amazing multiplayer game. If you're playing multiplayer games, you're probably playing Arc Raiders. And in this video, I kind of just want to take my turn to praise this game, how it's consumed 70 hours of my gaming time, and how I'm super excited for the future of this game, and just overall, you know, gush about it. Now, before I get into, the video, etc., do me a favor, you guys like, share, subscribe, etc. Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think about this game, if you guys are playing it, etc. Now, before we get into Arc Raiders and how we got to Arc Raiders, I do want to rewind it back to the extraction shooter genre prior to Arc Raiders, right? So, really, yeah, Tarkov for a moment, and then a bunch of Tarkov ripoffs. Um, Excuse me, I'm not super familiar with the genre in its entirety, in its history, etc., etc. But that's pretty much what the conversation was prior to this. They said Tarkov came out, and there was a bunch of games that oversaturated the genre and kind of just ripped off Tarkov. Then we start to hear rumbles about Arc Raiders, right? This game being developed by Embark Studios. If you guys are unfamiliar with Studios, it's a bunch of it's a bunch of ex Dice devs that used to work on Battlefield that left. They made the finals, and the finals had its moment. I think a lot of people liked it, but it didn't really catch on as strongly as Arc Raiders did. Then we start to hear about this next game that they're working on, Arc Raiders. There was a lot of like playtests and closed betas with streamers and stuff like that that were honestly singing this game praises. And it's one of the things that I had heard about, but I wasn't really like glued in. I wasn't trying to stay tapped into it too much until the game released. Then the game released, and nothing anyone could say was bad about this game. Everything everyone was saying was great. They were saying how amazing this game was, how this is like, the best multiplayer game in a long time. And this is a year that Battlefield 6 came out, and I was absolutely in love with Battlefield 6. Like Battlefield 6 was gonna be the game that I was gonna play, you know, with my family, with my friends, with everybody. Like Battlefield 6 was the game I was fully glued onto, right? Then Arc Raiders released. I hear all these praises, so I say, why not? It's $40. Let me type in, right? So I dive into this game. 70 hours later, I'm here talking to you guys about how amazing this game is. Um, you've probably already heard or you already experienced, the amazing map setups, the arc enemies, the gunplay, the PvP slash PvE elements that kind of create these cool scenarios within games, all that stuff, right? If we were to dive a little bit deeper into, the parts that I enjoy the most, it's definitely for me when, I have my squad and we're taking down, a Bastion or a Rocketeer, and we're kind of like doing things that we didn't think we're capable of, right? And then, as you kind of progress through time and you unlock better weapons, it becomes easier to take these things down. Now it's one of those type of things that our favorite thing to do in a map is take down a Leaper, take down a Bastion, take down a Rocketeer, etc. Like those are our favorite things to do. And it's kind of crazy looking back at some of the earlier gameplay and like thinking this was not possible. And then you just get so much good weapons, better, skill tree, etc. That makes these things super easy, super fun. I love when I see a bunch of other players that haven't played the game as much, and they're kind of watching us take down something huge, and they're just like in awe of it. Stuff like that I think is really cool. Um, as far as the PvP elements of this game, I definitely like those as well. I think it has its moments. I think there's just like that. There's always that tense feeling when you run into somebody across the map, and you never know exactly how they want to play the game. I think that's one of those type of things that creates this like walking on pins and needles moment. Especially if I'm by myself when I'm solo, and I'm like searching an area or I'm breaching something, or even if I'm waiting to extract and I have to continuously look behind my shoulders because I don't know if someone's stalking me and someone's trying to take me out to take all my stuff. So that's definitely one of the things that I think because of the game that they set up, Embark, it definitely allows for all this different tension to be pulling in all different directions, right? I'm worried about arcs. I'm worried about finding the best stuff I can find. I'm worried about other players in the game. So it's one of those type of things that, you never feel really the sense of ease until you go back, to Speranza, until you finally hit the exfil, you head out, you go back, you unload your backpack, and then you feel like relieved. And then there's that second moment of like the fear gear of it all, where you don't know if you want to bring out the cool stuff you just got because you don't want to lose it. And then, you kind of overcome that hurdle and you finally bring your stuff, and sure enough, you die and you lose it. So it's that kind of like loop that extraction shooters have, from what I gathered, that Arc Raiders has been able to grab, change it and format it in a way that they like, and kind of release it to the mainstream in a way that is more digestible, more accessible, easier to get into. This is a game that I can honestly see myself getting just about any person I know into this game, just because it's definitely an easy game to get into. Sure, it's definitely hard to learn movement better, get better at the maps, learn different AI arc enemies, etc. Like that stuff is, the progression of it all. With that being said, though, the floor to get in is pretty simple, right? If you ever played any type of shooter, whether it be Fortnite or any other type of game, Call of Duty, etc., you're gonna be pretty familiar with this game. Um, the thing again that kind of makes this more than just a regular shooter is that like level of meta, like we're kind of just living in this. I think most players playing this game are so deep into the world that this game, takes place in, based off of the proc chat, based off things that people are saying. It's very like, I don't know, just seeing people kind of role play their way into this game, right? And I think that's one of those type of things that makes this game a cut above the rest. As much as we got to sing praises to Embark, as much as we got to sing praises to the game devs for making this game really, really cool, I want to sing praises personally to the community, right? When I'm crawling for, aimlessly, hoping somebody can find me and revive me, and eventually someone does on the last second come and, with a defibrillator and pick me back up again. Those are cool moments, man. Those are moments that are only possible in this game, really. Like, sure, I'm sure like other extraction shooters have done it, right? But not to this scale, in my opinion. Like, this is something that, because of how accessible it is, because it kind of casted a wide net of players and a bunch of people gravitated towards it, it creates such a dynamic environment of either people who are really scummy and ratting out by the extract and like they want to just take you out for your stuff, or you get the nicest people who just give you stuff for literally no reason. And again, that push and pull within the community is what creates a lot of these epic moments that I think are really cool. Whether it's, hey, I found a squad of three fighting another squad of three, and me and my team are going in there to help out another team, etc., or just all out war, squad v squad. It's those type of moments that I think make this game better than most. Just the other day, I was playing with a squad of three. I'm walking down, I'm walking down underneath like this dam, and I had my two other squad mates above me, kind of watching me because they're kind of like looking for stuff up there. And another squad of three comes into me and they run into me and they say, "Oh, are you by yourself?" Blah blah blah. And I was like, "No, I have two other people above me." And you could tell they didn't believe me because then they proceeded to take me out. They downed me and they were like, talking their stuff at me, they were, yapping. And, my team comes sliding down and takes them out. And it's one of those type of things that was so funny to see, like from my point of view of just like being downed and watching my two buddies slide down the dam and shooting like crazy people and screaming on proc chat. It's just type of things that it's just super funny. I think everyone kind of took it well. Even like the other team, they weren't really like a-holes about it or anything. Like we all kind of laughed about it. We took them out, took their stuff, and proceeded with our day. It's just type of things that, again, I haven't had in a game in so long. Like something about this makes you feel like I'm in middle school again, and like I'm playing like old school Modern Warfare 2 or something like that, where everyone was on mic and everyone was just talking crap and having fun. And I love that. This it's nostalgic in a lot of ways. It's new in a lot of ways, right? Because I never played an extraction shooter like this before, especially one that I was able to get so many of my friends into. So it's one of those type of things that I'm super happy, not just for the development of this game, not just for the game that came out. Because if I'm being honest, like the game itself, right? If we looked at like the quests they have to do, I don't think they're fun by any means. They're not dynamic quests. You go in there, you find something, you head out, right? They're not super dynamic. The skill tree progression isn't that fun in my opinion. Like there's like things that you need to do, right? You need to increase, your stamina and stuff like that. That's stuff you have to do. But there's a lot of it in the skill tree that I'm just like, okay, like I don't see this changing my way of playing this game, all too differently. But again, the community that gather around this game, for better or for worse, right? Because you have like the bungalators who are just like out to kill people, and the other people that are kind of just like teaming up against them, etc. Like I think that's cool because of the like way that it's seeped into real world, the way real world, people have kind of like adapted this game and took it and just ran with it within such little time. Like it's kind of crazy how little bit of amount of time it took for this game to become so, locked into real world, and that's cool. And I think all in all, the biggest shout out needs to go to the community for this game. Like obviously, again, the devs who worked their butts off to make this game, but a multiplayer game is nothing without a community that kind of latches onto it, right? You can look at tons of multiplayer games that failed because they failed to find communities. And this game has been able to encapsulate such a large community of vastly different players that think differently, right? There's reasons why there's arguments within the community about whether this game should be PvP heavy or PvE heavy, right? There's reasons why certain people like to scum and like rat in like exfil sites, or there's other people that absolutely hate those type of things, right? That's the dynamic. That's the push and pull and the tension that this game has, and I think you know whether or not this game starts to lean more PvP or PvE, like I've noticed it kind of like switches off the day. There's certain days where I notice that everyone's super nice. Other days I notice everyone is super aggro and just wants to kill people. And that creates for a very dynamic, gameplay style, right? I have to be on my toes. I have to adjust to whoever's in this site. I don't know. I think that's kind of all I got for this game for the most part. I can dive deeper into like the gameplay and like how the AI is kind of built out and stuff like that. But there's tons of videos talking about that, to be honest with you. So I kind of don't really want to dive too deeply into all that. If you guys don't know, the AI is really, really cool. The way the arcs kind of play out is like they're very everyone has its like weak point, right? Every arc has a weak point. So if you take out like a thruster, then like it starts to like shake and like it can't balance itself for a bit. Stuff like that is really, really cool, really fundamental to what makes this game's AI very different. But and you could, copy that statement and apply it to every other arc, whether it's the Leaper, the Bastion, etc. So all that stuff I definitely think was thought out thoroughly. But again, just to circle back, final point, to nail my point down is just I want to shout out the community of this game. With all that being said, I'm gonna end it because I've gone on longer than I'm supposed to. But yeah, I'll go ahead and end this video on this game. Let me know down below what you guys think about this game. If you guys are playing Arc Raiders, if you guys want to squad up, let me know. Comment section down below.